Jour poco levé, n'a travaillé.
This question of security and the rumors of security and the racism behind the idea of security has been our major block to getting aid in. The U.S. military has promised us for several days to bring in machinery, but they've been listening to this idea that things are insecure, and so we don't have supplies.
Jour poco levé, n'a travaillé.
The Aristide Foundation is less than 2 miles from the airport. There are 53 doctors there, and there are thousands of people in need of medical care. And they're not getting medical supplies. They can't go to the airport and pick up medical supplies. Medical supplies are not being delivered to them. They don't have fresh water. You know, a person that is not accustomed to marching could carry a bag of medical supplies. 1,000 people could carry 1,000 bags of medical supplies. There are 9,000 UN troops in Haiti. There are hundreds or thousands of US soldiers at that airport.
At the entrance to the city's airport, where most of the aid's coming in, there's anger and frustration. Much needed supplies of water and food are inside. Haitians are locked out.
These weapons they bring, they are instruments of death. We don't want them. We don't need them. We are a traumatized people. What we want from the international community is technical help, action, not words.
Our young men and women in the armed forces need to be carrying medicines. Put some medicine in that backpack. Yes. Help rebuild somebody, some community. Put some water in that backpack and take it to the people. Help organize them. I'm sure that's what they want to do. We cannot let this militarism, this idea that poor people are the enemy, be what is the mantra of this operation. We got to stop it.
And when I hear on television that the lack of infrastructure made it difficult to roll out the support, that's ridiculous, because the mobile army units, mass units, don't require infrastructure. The nature of a mass unit, mobile field hospital, is that they are there because there is no infrastructure.
They can reach them by foot. The reporters go to the neighborhoods. Walter, Riley, and Barbara have driven from their homes to the airport. So there are streets that are passable. People can have access. The food, they have all-terrain vehicles, big old trucks and everything going through, rumbling down the street. So they can deliver the food to the people.
Most Haitians here have seen little humanitarian aid so far. What they have seen is guns, and lots of them. Armoured personnel carriers cruise the streets. UN soldiers aren't here to help pull people out of the rubble. They're here, they say, to enforce the law. This is what much of the UN presence actually looks like on the streets of Port-au-Prince. Men in uniform, racing around in vehicles, carrying guns.
Why are they saying?
Well, that's the question that we all have to ask. Why? And why do we allow it? Why do we allow it to happen? What can we do to stop it? What must we change in our government, in our own society, that would allow that to happen? Those are American troops right there on that tarmac. Tax money that's keeping medical supplies, not just from this place, from other places.
They see those big helicopters going by overhead, but for themselves they don't get any food now. There are clusters of about 2,000 people in certain areas. Some are bigger, larger groups of 5,000, and throughout the capital city. So how are they surviving? Sharing. That's how they are surviving. Everybody gets whatever little they can scrounge, and they are sharing it with each other. They are hungry, they are thirsty, they call me, they say, man, we're so glad that you know, we can at least reach someone, but we are hungry, thirsty. I said, what about all those tons of food that people all over the world are sending, and that we are seeing at the airport stacked up? They said, it's not being distributed. So some of it is beginning to be because of the pressures, because of the outrage of the reporters on the ground. Many of the reporters were touched by this, and they have talked about it. And people have picked up their phones, have been calling the White House, have been calling our representative, I know Congressman Bobby Ali and others, and so we are seeing some movement. I want to warn you that you will be seeing a lot of scenes, they so-called looting. Now let me explain that. When people have gone through such a horrific, now this is from last Tuesday, we are on Wednesday. All of those people I've spoken to have not gotten anything at all. They are surviving based on what they can scrounge. And I called many times and told all who could hear, I said, you are driving people to a point of desperation. Because when people get so hungry and thirsty, then what's going to happen?
Leave